Issue 289. Now for another creatively bankrupt ripoff story. What is the point of talking about anything that's not original? We start out with Sonic on the tornado above West Side Island, telling Tails that he can't let Eggman get away. Tails says that the thruster is acting funny, as the most boring part of Sonic 2 is ripped off. Tails' plane gets shot by a laser and he goes down with it, insisting that he can fix the plane. As Sonic is pointing out what I was thinking, that Tails should leave it because he can fly. But of course, Tails doesn't want to abandon his plane to be destroyed if he can help it. Sonic the Comic did this kind of story too, and it was more interesting there because Sonic was being snarky to Tails all the time. And it started out with him in an underground base once belonging to Robotnik when he was good. And he talked to a computer with a hologram of Eggman's face on it that told them to go there. And Sonic said about Silver Sonic, "That's supposed to be me." Sad, isn't it? I really doubt this lazy story could top that one, which made up for it the whole time with great dialogue. At least it's interesting to see Sonic wall jump again to skip ahead in Flying Fortress. It's not really game classic Sonic then, but it's something new. Then he runs out of an open door and falls, when I would expect him to be fast enough with his reaction times to stop before this could happen. Is there anything else new here? Stories this lazy should be ignored. The arc isn't even bad enough to give me material. It's just padding. He hangs onto the wall, blah blah blah, then he encounters Sniffly instead of Eggman, who stupidly asks how someone fast dodges bullets. Again, with the wall slamming down in front of Sonic that doesn't look like glass. It looks like the portals from Rick and Morty. I honestly can't see how Sniffly has any chance of winning against someone as fast as Sonic by sending these spiked platforms after him. They're slower than him. He said that Eggman tried to drown him, but that just makes me think that if he did try to drown him here, he would have won, because Sonic wouldn't be able to escape this place. Instead, he sends stuff at him he could easily avoid. The story feels like an underwhelming void of nothingness if you already know about Sonic 2. Why focus entirely on one level, where he just goes through it silently, making it no different from just watching Sonic go through it in gameplay? Not enough rings did Sonic 2 way better because it showed off every level and always had a snarky quip about it. With this story, I recommend skipping it. At least with pre-Flynn stories, I can say that reading it is worthwhile because it gives you a new experience, no matter what the story is. This doesn't even have that. So, buying this story would be like throwing your money in the trash. Any fanfiction writer could play Sonic 2 and write a story just like this. The predictable happens. Sniffly escapes through a hole below him, and Sonic spin dashes all over the control panel, which explains why the Flying Fortress ended up falling out of the sky. Wait, does it? In Sonic the Comic, Sonic took control of the controls of the Death Egg to cause it to start heading for the ocean, and then left it. Sonic could have done that and then left in the escape pod. Wouldn't damaging the controls have the thing continue to fly ahead with no way to stop it, until eventually it'd run out of fuel and then crash? Possibly on a populated area? If Eggman was smart enough to have the thing solar powered, it'd fly forever. I'm just bored. Sniffly already took off in his flying escape pod and was far enough away from it that Sonic never had a chance of grabbing onto it and going with it. But Tails' plane comes back. Tails appreciates being complimented and is called Little Bro, and he explains that the thruster is giving out, which explains why Sonic had to jump onto the spaceship instead of the plane keeping up with it, aside from the fact that it's a biplane not meant to space travel. Oh right, it's called Wing Fortress in Sonic 2. I always get those two mixed up because they're the same thing again, aside from the obvious fact that all the levels in Sonic 3 are a lot longer, and the Flying Fortress level has fake animal capitals in it. Sniffly says that he was supposed to bring all the Metropolis supplies to the Death Egg. So, Eggman can make anything, right? Why can't he just make a teleporter and have the Metropolis supplies teleported to the Death Egg? In Sonic Adventure 2, Rouge went into a space teleporter. At least Sonic's cheeks looked puffed out so that he's holding his breath when it's up in space. But he would still be freezing. Sniffly had a long conversation with Robotnik up there while Sonic was hanging onto the spaceship the whole time when he would have been in it, piloting it by now in Sonic 2. So Sonic 2 is a more believable plot than this. Like if he was inside the spaceship, you could assume he kept air in it. So the story is officially worthless because it's not even a better experience. If the artist thought to draw his cheeks as puffed out because he was in space, or Flynn thought to tell him that, he should have thought to have Sonic be in the spaceship before it got up there. But that'd be smart. Like, he's loyal to the games up until the point where it makes sense to be loyal to the games. Sonic has all the time to think about how Eggman got the metal to build the Death Egg from the Acorn Kingdom while he's holding his breath in the vacuum of space. Him being up there and surviving for so long makes him impossible to relate to as a protagonist. He gasps for breath getting into the Death Egg, and unrealistically doesn't go after Snively when he runs away from him and beat him up. Snively even said that Sonic kept beating up him and Eggman, and they were bruised from it. Instead, he doesn't give a shit and is in no hurry and wants to go at his own pace, which is not Sonic at all. At least he admires the view of the planet from up here, appreciating beauty. And he lampshades the fact that Scrap Brain is a horrible name. Can I learn why he called it that then? Then he stupidly asks Eggman, ruler of the world, what his air conditioning bill is. Why am I being shown this? The only way the story could be appealing is if you've either never experienced Sonic 2 before, which would be a very rare breed of Sonic fan, or you hate everything with creativity in Sonic, so you only like stories that are super familiar already. Only a game purist would recommend this boring series of stories. Why should I talk about the plot if there's nothing new to talk about? Sonic takes Silver Sonic seriously, being intimidated at first, instead of humorously mocking him confidently, and it takes forever to get a single hit on him, even though he says that it's weighed down and slow, because this is by Flynn, so he's incompetent. Like, is this supposed to be funny? Because characters being incompetent isn't funny. It's lampshaded that Eggman trying to run from Sonic is pointless, but the writing's much stupider than it thinks it is, because if the writer knows this, why isn't Sonic immediately caught up to them while they were saying this stuff? Why isn't it explained that Eggman's a cyborg, and so of course he's faster than him? Sonic would have instantly caught up to them and beat them up. Eggman obviously would never have the time to throw Snively into Sonic because of all that talking they did first, which they shouldn't have been able to do. This would have justified it, but it didn't. Oh, and then the story ends on the final boss of Sonic 2, instead of showing Sonic defeated in the same story, when the cover is a Sonic 2 ripoff. And I'm sure if they removed all the panels that were a waste of our time, it could have easily fit the boss fight into this piece of shit. This boring issue is by Ian Flynn, and it's completely worthless if you already know the plot of Sonic 2. At least when Sonic the Comic did this plot, it was interesting to read Sonic snarking at Tails the whole time, being arrogant. This is just Sonic goes through the Wing Fortress and fights Silver Sonic, dumbly. So identically to the game that's all pointless. I can't even remember anything original beyond Snively was there, and he wall jumped at one point. Oh, right. And it doesn't matter that Snively was there. It could have been Eggman for all difference it made. Lazy, pointless, boring stories like this aren't new experiences, so they aren't worth buying. So just skip this issue. Like I guess a lot of people did. And I seriously was surprised that Archie canned the comic. Of course people stopped buying it. If this was a good comic, people would be buying it in droves, no matter how Archie felt about it. The off-panel is more interesting than the story. Sonic couldn't breathe in space, which is good, because only a complete and utter idiot would think Sonic could breathe in space, and question why he couldn't breathe in space. But somehow Sonic survived a lot of time in space anyways, when in Sonic 2, he was safely inside the spaceship. A kid's game wrote this better. So the story isn't even better than the game. Just skip it.